That's probably the case. All right, Trade Pros, we are live. I'm just going to give you guys a couple of seconds here to let you guys start piling on in, and we will go ahead and get this update started. So please do go ahead and say hello in the interactive chat, just so I can see that you guys are actually in here. And once I get the first comment there, just to confirm that I am showing live, we can go ahead and start with this update. All right. Nobody's in the chat. You guys are shy today, which is fine. But I'll go ahead and get started. In any case, so good afternoon, one. Good afternoon, all. This is Mark from TRADEPRO Academy. There we are. Correct. Thank you for popping in there. So we are showing live here, and this is Mark coming at you guys from our headquarters here in Toronto, Ontario, on this last trading day of September 2019. It is Monday, September the 30th. And it's been a bit of a quiet session so far today. Equities are pressing overnight highs at the moment, and crude oil is kind of just hanging around its pit open here. It hasn't been the most opportune kind of sessions on today's trading here in crude and in S&P 500. That being said, there were still some opportunities. Not the clearest opportunities. You had to be a little bit more aggressive today if you did catch anything. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. So Georgie covered a majority of what happened overnight. Biggest driver being the U.S. Treasury spokesperson Crowley mentioning that there is no truth to the media reports of U.S. planning to block China companies from IPOs in the States, as there were earlier reports that the Nasdaq was making it more difficult for Chinese companies to IPO by slowing down approval process and increasing restrictions. That has been denied, and we also did see some strong manufacturing PMI beats out of China. Vis-a-vis their China September Kaizen manufacturing PMI, which beat forecasts and marked the highest level since February 2018 and the second consecutive month of expansion. So a little bit of optimism on the back of that gave us somewhat of a bullish bias to start the morning. As far as the U.S. session, nothing really that important that came through this morning. Georgie covered what came through before the market opened. After the market opened, we basically just had Chicago PMI numbers. And that's all that we've really got on the agenda today. Those PMI numbers came in at 47.1 versus 50 expected, so a bit of a miss. And we also did see the September Dallas Fed manufacturing activity, which came in at a bit of a beat, 1.5 versus 1 expected. All right, so that's basically what we had as far as actual news drivers this morning throughout the U.S. session. As I just mentioned, I'm not really seeing anything else on the agenda out of the States until tomorrow. We do have FOMC member Evans speaking late at 3:15 a.m. Tomorrow night. And then we pick it up with a couple of Fed speakers tomorrow morning, mainly your FOMC member Clarida and FOMC member Bullard. And we also have Bowman speaking as well between 8:50 and 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. So expect a little bit more volatility there tomorrow. As far as the remainder of today's session, not really seeing too much going on. That being said, we've had a bunch of these kinds of situations the last couple of weeks. And even though there was nothing scheduled on the agenda as far as economic releases, we have had some random what is it called, tape bombs hit the wires. Most notably that squawk last Friday with regards to the U.S. potentially restricting capital flows into Chinese markets. And so that's kind of been denied this morning. So again, just because there's nothing on the agenda, it is important, especially if you will be day trading, to have a new squawk handy, because when a tape bomb hits like that, it can move the markets, and it's better to be on the right side, even if you don't have a trade. Not having a trade still makes you a trader, but you're not kind of sitting there wondering what's going on as the market's dropping. Couple of handles. All right, so that's what we got as far as the economic agenda. Let's jump onto our charts here and see what's going on. All right, so you guys should be seeing my chart at this point in time. Let me get my little pen tool out. All right, so here's my little pen tool. There's a quote board. Up top, you see crude oil. Crude oil's got 330,000 contracts, very light volume today. Daily change percentage is down 1.31%. That is because previous day close came in at 56.16. We're about a whole dollar off of that at this point in time, 55.18, and our pit open was at 55.03. All right, our pit open was right here, 55.03. So yes, we are down below the previous day close, but we're still above the open, which is kind of giving us a little bit of mixed signals for today's session. We are seeing the open holding at this point in time. You guys can see that. We'll cover that in just a moment once we get to these charts. But for now, I just want you guys to focus on this quote board, and what it's showing is light volume. And daily change percentage can be a little bit misleading on today's session. On the S&P 500, we've got laughable volume, 578,000 contracts into this part of this session. This is really light for September. I mean, by no means has it been a super active September, but even for the September, we've had 578,000 contracts into, noon. This is very light volume, and this just shows me potential for more range, more consolidation kind of action, since we did have some pretty good moves overnight and on Friday's market. We'll likely consolidate some of that. I can see we did have a gap up here, which we've closed, and now we're kind of right back up to where that gap faded off from, right around these overnight highs at 29.80. 29.80 shouldn't be a surprise to you guys. I've been mentioning that's a big level on the SPOOs. For the last couple, not last couple of months, but last couple of weeks or so, that 29.80 has been really, really significant, and we are testing that right now as resistance. So it'll be interesting to see if we can see some sellers starting to press this thing. But you guys know, that being said, very light volume. This isn't one of those days where you're looking to take extended targets. This is one of those kinds of days where you're looking to, if you're going to be looking to get in, if you're going to be looking to actually trade it, not really recommending you guys being too patient with these trades. Look to scratch quickly, look to take your profits quickly, and don't sit there waiting for this thing to move. This is one of those kinds of market environments, one of those kinds of days that is going to suck you into a trade only to get you filled, and you'll be sitting there without much movement. And that trade, where you go from having an edge in that trade, the longer you sit in it, the trade without it actually moving, that edge is turning into hope. And once you start getting hope creeping into your trade, at that point, it's a time where you should be scratching it and getting rid of that position, waiting for the next best trade to set up. So a lot of patience is required on today's session if you guys are going to be trading into the remainder, rather into the U.S. close. So that's what the quote board shows us. Relatively light volume on both of our markets here. Daily change percentage, not really that significant. We are up 0.57% from previous day's close, which was around these 69 halves. Last traded price is right around these 80 halves or so. We are also above the pit open, or not the pit open, the US cash session open. We are above that. That opened, believe, a tick above the previous day close at the 69.75. That's the open that I've got on my SPOOs today. And so we are above the U.S. Open and above the previous day's close. So on SPOOs, at least on these S&P 500s, this thing's looking a little bit more bullish than the oil market. All right, that's what our quote board shows us. Looking at the pivot charts here, you guys can see oil's been trending lower, but very like marginal breaks lower. You guys can see each break we're getting to fresh lows. It's giving us a heavy rotation higher. So we get these moves, break to fresh low, rotation higher, break to fresh low, big rotation higher. But the top of the range is holding as resistance here. You guys are seeing each time it breaks to new lows, pops up. Sellers are defending those pops. And recently we just had a little bit, did we even come down to the S1? No, we didn't come down to the S1. We didn't come down to the S1, which is sitting below 54.80s. Our overnight low was the 95, so about 15 cents or so off of that level. And we'll see if we can press to two fresh lows. What you guys are seeing on this session is, yeah, we did come into those 95s, tried it once, tried it twice, and we've pulled up. Didn't quite get up into those pivot, came up into those 55, 60s, before pressing on down. So there is structure forming here on this hourly chart between these 55.60s and these 54.90s or so. Ultimately, if it comes back up in here, I'd be anticipating sellers to knock this thing back over the head and press it down into the S1. If we take a look at our actual tick charts here, what you guys will see is that yes, we had a pretty nice little climb overnight. When we opened yesterday, Sunday, a little bit of a gap, and we've kind of faded that into the pit session. So pit session opened up down here. And from the pit session, you can see we did pop up. We've tried pressing back below this overnight low. Couldn't really do that. Tried it again. We've just been, kind of grinding up higher until we came into these 55.60s. We did have a previous top right here. Market rotated off of that. We came back up into that zone, swiped some of that liquidity here, and surprise, surprise, came right into the consolidation that preceded that breakdown. Look where we came right back into, and we kind of sold off from there, giving some nice aggressive selling. Volume looks to have kind of picked up as we're coming down in here. And we came down into the open. This was kind of interesting to me. This is why I'm saying this market's a little bit mixed on today's session, because if we really did want to break into fresh lows, we really should have gotten back below the open here. You guys are seeing we did come into the open, pressed up off of it, tried to breach back below it, failed, tried two or three more times. You guys are seeing this set of wicks to the downside shows that the market pressed lower, but the buyers came in and closed it back higher. That's what these wicks show. That's showing accumulation near those lows. And so there is buying happening between that open and those 55.10s, which you can see we've kind of shifted structure up here. Now we're starting to rotate the upper end of this structure here. So we're kind of stuck between the pit session VWAP and the previous day low here around these 26s. All right, so we'll see if this range holds. If this range holds, we could be getting that press back towards the overnight low. If not, if we get a strong breakout over here, again, it looks like it might break out, but the candle is still forming here. We need to wait for this thing to close. If this thing closes back above that zone, we'll probably get a little bit of a higher press back up into these 55.60s or so. This is really the level I'd be looking to short it at again, right? Because we've had it hold once, hold twice, hold three times. Might look to try it again here. The fact that we sold off that aggressively and held this open, I can see that people that got long here would likely look to sell it as we're coming back into previous highs. So this is where I'm seeing we can get some additional selling pressure coming in. And the fact that we've pulled off from those 55s up into these 55.60s means, to me at least, we have a little bit more value for the sellers to actually press this thing back down into these 55.20. So that's kind of what I'll be looking for here. Not really looking to buy this market, to be quite honest. So I'll be sitting on my hands until we get back up here, at which point I'd be looking to take another trade. All right, doesn't necessarily have to get back up there. It could simply come right back into this zone, right into this VWAP, hover around here, and then press on lower. At which point, if it does get back there, I need to see a flush back below the open, back below the overnight low, in order to start looking to take any counter trend rallies for additional shorts. All right, so that's what we've got on crude. That's looking like it might have been just a bit of a fake breakout there, but you guys know the levels to watch out for. Here's your S&P 500. We have been making lower lows, lower highs, and again, this is marginal lows, right? Each kind of low that we've been making, we've had a rotation. Most recently on Friday, we did dip below those 29.60s, almost came into the 29.45s or so, I think it was. S1 today is at those 42.30s. R1 is at those 89s. All right, that's right around your previous day high, comes in at the 89 halves. All right, so the fact that let's draw this a little bit clearly. These are your highs on the SPOOs. So you are seeing the highs getting lower and lower. All right, each time it's coming down, rotating, creating lower highs and making new lows, rotating lower highs, new lows, rotating. So I'd be anticipating lower highs as well coming into these 29.89s or so. The fact that we have, if we take a look at this sucker here, the fact that we have we did gap up right here. You can see that was a gap from the previous day close, 69 halves up into the 76ers or so. We did have that gap, which was faded overnight. kind of came back down, tested those overnight lows again, and we opened up right around these 69.75, opened up here, kind of consolidated, and it's just been one of those slow grinds higher. You see we range, breakout, likely some more ranging, and potentially another breakout into that previous day high. All right, so that's what I'm looking for here. I want to say that I would love to short this thing right around this overnight high. But at this point in time, it looks a little bit too early. I like this level because we did have a nice rejection from here. I like it because we also gapped up and faded from there. And now we're right back at that level. And so in a slow market like this, these are kinds of the trades where you would be looking to make fades because it's grinding slower here. So you're not really going to have strong breakouts on the first attempt. You'll likely have, you know, some failed breakout attempts that lead to a rotation, probably back down into these view apps before we get that straight breakout. But who knows? Maybe it'll just go. In any case, if we do get another 10 tick failure around here, if this candle starts looking something like this, where we had the little run up, we fail, try the highs again and fail, that might be the time, you know, fail. Could look to fade this thing back down into the view app, into the overnight high or opening range high, and into this 5-day, whoops, into this 5-day point of control. Other than that, you've got your previous day high here and you got your value area high sitting right between these 88s and 89 halves. And so that's a nice level to look to sell if we can get up there. All right, guys, so that's what I've got for you on today's session. If you guys have any questions for me, please go ahead and pop those into the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my TradePro Performance Index and show you guys how the team finished off September trading here. And this is how we closed out the month. So today being the last day of September, we finished 32% up, 32% flat, and 35% down, giving us overall live positive of 65% and giving us a monthly close of on average of 67.22% live positive for the month of September. So right in line with our average numbers. On average, we typically go between 66 to 68% live positive on each month, and right in line with what our average has been. So overall, very proud of our room. We did start off a little bit bumpy. We did have 47 and a 51% day in the first week or so of trading as September contracts. However, strong recovery into the remainder of the month, and we look to jump into October with the similar results, coming in with a high note, and we'll see how our team does from there. All right, guys, so that's what I've got on today's session. A little bit shorter. Hope you guys enjoyed the weekend video, which was clipped from one of these elite sessions. I figured there was enough value in there to give you guys an actual clip of that and make it its own video. So with that being said, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, you guys know the deal. Make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you guys do enjoy these, we do this every single morning before market opens at 9 a.m. and then midday around 12 p.m. Eastern. Usually around 12 p.m. depending on what we're doing. It'll be between 12 to 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right, so we do that on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends you guys get 2 videos on Saturday and on Sunday. So I'm losing my words here. All right, so if you guys do enjoy this, smash those like buttons, subscribe to the channel, and you know, refer your friends. If you guys have any friends that are looking to get into this industry as well, and you guys think we are the right place for that, please do feel free to recommend our channel to your friends. So that's going to be my sign off for today. Markets are going a little bit slower, so if you guys don't have anything to do, or if you are already green, I would suggest closing up your trading station and going about with your day and enjoying it. All right, that's what we do this for. Oh, no problem, William. Perfect. So you guys found some value out of that. That's great to hear. So like I said, that's going to be me for today. Until tomorrow, you guys know those 3 rules, especially in today's kind of conditions: patience, diligence, and discipline. Take care, guys. Good luck and good trading. This is Mark signing out from our headquarters here in Toronto, Ontario for today's date, September 30th. Take care, guys.